away we go on the Wednesday edition, Mr. Relevant. Alex Strouf, Josh DiMaggio, Will Sommers, Hunter Vaughn with you on this Wednesday following the NFL trade deadline yesterday. The Packers obviously don't make a move, as we didn't really expect. Didn't expect them to, but they ultimately don't, and other teams do, right? You look at the team they're playing on Monday and the Philadelphia Eagles. That's a team who made plenty of moves leading up to the NFL trade deadline, including old friend Jair Alexander, one of the newest members of the Philadelphia Eagles. They acquired 2 cornerbacks and a pass rusher where the Packers do nothing. And I don't know if that's the right or wrong approach necessarily. Obviously, the Packers made a big trade right before the season started by acquiring Micah Parsons. They get 8 games of him prior to the NFL trade deadline and obviously lock him up for years to come. So I don't know what the right or wrong approach to the trade deadline is. Seeing some of the names traded, there was no way the Packers were going to be in on Sauce Gardner if you wanted a corner. Obviously, there was no way they were going to be in on Quinnen Williams. There's first-round picks being traded everywhere. The Packers already lose their next 2 first-round picks with that Micah Parsons trade. So all in all, man, looking at the big-ticket items that were traded yesterday, 100% the right move by the Packers because you didn't have the assets to trade for a guy like Sauce Gardner. And I don't even know that you could afford Sauce Gardner given the contracts of Jordan Love and Micah Parsons. So it is what it is. I think it is what we expected at the deadline, and I am certainly not calling for Brian Gutekunst's job the day after the NFL trade deadline. It is what it is. Here we are, the day after. I've got a ton of stuff I want to get to on the Packers today because we finally had time to kind of sit and just bake in it. What do you put on a marinate in it? Marinate in it.
You marinate.
Nate. Yes, marinate.
A marinade is the actual
sauce.
Yes, that is doing the marinating.
So the marinade is in my brain, and my brain has been marinated.
Yes.
Got it. I've got a ton of stuff on the Packers today that I want to get to, which includes rumors. The rumor mill, as it always is swirling. Are they contenders? Are they pretenders? Are they somewhere in the middle? I want to get to that. What are the weapons, and who do you have the most faith in as the Packers will try to survive and advance this season without their star tight end and Tucker Kraft. So we'll have a discussion on that. We'll play a little one word. We'll hit what we missed as well here on this Wednesday edition of Mr. Irrelevant. Joshy, final show of the week for you. Rumor has it.
That's correct.
Yeah, going hunting or what?
No, I just got some stuff to take care of. So we get a certain amount of off days. If we don't use a certain amount, we lose them.
Yep.
So this is part of my effort to get within that range.
That is my next Tuesday, day after the Packers-Eagles game. I'm doing the same thing.
As we all know, it is the best for our pregame hosts to be off following a game.
Okay. Is there a pregame show on Tuesday I'm not aware of?
No, I'm just saying, you figured you want to be here contributing on the day after a Packers game.
I'll be here on Wednesday.
Well,
might be too late by then.
Yeah, we're moving on.
I don't believe there's
moving on to Sunday.
Is there a Mr. Relevant on Tuesday?
No, there's a KBN. Is there not?
Yeah. Will can answer the phone.
Who's picking up the pieces for that?
I actually don't know the answer to that yet.
Will is not. I gave Will, as I'm doing the scheduling now, since Will will be here late, I decided not to give him extra work.
Nobody loves a conversation quite like a scheduling conversation.
Uh-huh.
This is your fault, by the way.
Yeah, we can move on anytime now, guys.
I'm here grinding.
I'm here grinding, except Friday. He won't be here.
Yeah,
won't be here grinding on Friday.
No, of course.
Hunter also off on Friday, I'm hearing.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of become the thing. Yeah, you get the double
That's
with
true.
the Prep
You haven't been
Mania
there
and
for
Badger
this,
Volleyball. Yeah.
Is it time to rename the show since it seems like I'm the one constant?
Well, I mean, except me, you mean?
When you think of Mr. Relevant, you think Will Sommers is always going to be there. The fans don't have to worry about whether or not I'm going to be here. I'll be here.
That's only been the case for like 2 months.
Also, I think that's just more
You've been
a
saying
result
that
of
for
you
like 2
being a
months.
loser and having nothing else going on.
Whoa.
Whoa.
Well, also, I just don't have many off days as you guys. You ever think about that?
Yeah, I have. Yes.
Did Hunter just call you a loser because he doesn't want to work harder?
The guy that goes to Costco during Wild Card Sunday.
Now we're lashing out everywhere.
Well, if we're going to lash out, he called you a loser, and he just can't work harder.
Yeah, we'll see how Hunter likes...
Too busy doing high school football to produce the show he's supposed to produce.
We'll see how much of a loser he thinks I am when he has to spend the weekend at my apartment.
What are our standings right now? NFL
Hold on, I
teams.
got to pick him up.
I'm in first place. I know that all by myself. Got my underdog right that Joshy drilled me on.
Which one was that?
I picked the Steelers over the Colts.
Oh, yeah.
That game was so annoying.
I didn't watch it.
Brutal.
I didn't watch it.
I'd like to point out I
handled
lost
him.
on a missed extra point.
You did lose on a mistake.
My underdog also 3 times I've had the better team in the game that ends up losing. But I guess that's also part of being a bad team. Because I had the Bengals.
That's part of being a bad team. Yes, it is.
I had the Bengals, and they, what was it, 17 seconds?
That's correct. Maybe even less than
And
that.
instead of wrapping up Colson Loveland, which, I mean, he's a great player, he's very athletic, but if you just tackle him and don't let him pass you end the game.
Well, and here we are. Bears win.
So there's a 3-way tie for last place between me, Josh, and
Oh,
Hunter.
wow.
At 8-9-1, and then Strouf is 9-8-1.
So basically, there is coin flips determining the difference in standings and who's going to actually end up being.
I've been in first place all year.
You're ahead by 1 game.
And I'm in first place.
Yeah.
I've been considering changing my strategy based on what other people pick, like just going against to try to weigh the options.
You're going to tank.
You don't know that.
Well, I guess Hunter and Josh won't get the opportunity to talk
If I
about it
went
on
against
Friday.
all of you guys this week, I would have won.
All right, we're done here. Let's get to some of the rumors going around in Packers land. And really not even a rumor; it's confirmed at this point. But so Asante Samuel Jr. He was a 2021 second-round pick to the Los Angeles Chargers, cornerback, obviously the son of Asante Samuel, former Philadelphia Eagle. Good player, had a good couple of years in LA. His season last year ends early with a shoulder injury. Then this offseason, it comes out, he has a spinal fusion in April. And last week, he was just cleared for football activities once again. Now, before we get to what that means for Asante Samuel, what that means for the Packers, I just want to say those 2 words again, because they're scary. Spinal fusion. Will, what is a spinal fusion?
I believe it's a procedure where some of your bones are like pushed together or something like that in your spine. Like there's something that's loose, like a disc in your lower back, and it's fused or put back together to the rest of your spine.
Pretty good. Usually they take bones from elsewhere, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I had no idea.
Typically it's like your hip, or am I making that up?
I think it is hip. Because there's a lot of bone there.
And they fuse it together to make your spine back to normal. So you did pretty well.
Yeah, I was workshopping that. I had no idea.
Good job.
Appreciate the admission.
Thanks.
So that's a scary injury. Whenever you hear spine or neck, like that's career-ending stuff we're talking about. Think Nick Collins, Jermichael Finley,
Mark Chmura.
So scary stuff. But the good news for Asante Samuel Jr. is he's only 26 years old. He's young. He's able to bounce back. He's had 7 months to recover. And now, as we enter the second half of the NFL season, he's just got to get acclimated back to football shape. Now, when it comes to the potential of him and the Packers, here's what we know. Today, the Panthers will work out Asante Samuel Jr. It sounds like tomorrow the Packers will work him out. And if he gets past the Packers workout tomorrow on Thursday, he will work out with the Vikings on Friday. So a lot of workouts scheduled for a guy with winning teams that need a boost at the cornerback position. And quite obviously, the Packers need a boost at the cornerback position. They lose Jair in the offseason, which seems to be the right decision, but you didn't really have anybody to replace him. You didn't draft one in the first round, the second round, the third round, the fourth round, the fifth round, or the sixth round. You drafted Michael Robinson in the 7th round, who obviously isn't going to play a role this year. You only had Keyshawn Nixon, who was an all-pro kick returner, Carrington Valentine, a former 7th round pick, on your roster, and you go out and sign Nate Hobbs. And Nate Hobbs, frankly, has been debatably the biggest disappointment for this Packers roster this season. You're paying him $12 million a year to be benched only halfway through the season. So this Asante Samuel Jr. conversation, I view it one of 2 ways, really both ways. Number one, this serves as an opportunity for a get-out-of-jail-free card for Brian Gutekunst, who has a pretty good record or track record in free agency. overall when you look at big ticket items, but he's also had a few flops. Think about after year one of Devondre Campbell, that massive contract he signed him to after he was a first-team All-Pro. Flop. Think about this offseason. Aaron Banks has been banged up and hasn't been able to stay on the field, got hurt against Sunday against the Panthers, and Nate Hobbs, both injured and benched, all within the first 8 games. Not a great offseason in terms of free agency for Brian Gutekunst. You make up for that by trading for Micah Parsons, a generational talent. But Asante Samuel Jr. could serve as a get-out-of-jail-free card of sorts to help shore up that position that I think we would all agree is the worst on this team so far through 8 games. It is the biggest concern for a team that has championship expectations. The other thing to note with Goody and this, what would likely be a veteran minimum signing for Asante Samuel Jr., is Goody's been pretty good with low-risk, high-reward moves. Think about Rasul Douglas at that cornerback position. Signs him off the Cardinals practice squad, turns into a really good player for them. Think about year one of Devondre Campbell as a $2 million linebacker turned into a first-team All-Pro. Keyshawn Nixon was cheap. He's now your top corner on your roster. And then a couple unique examples, names Josh probably didn't expect me to bring up. But 2020 season, when they make it to the NFC Championship game, they need an offensive lineman by the name of Jared Valdir. Remember that name?
Of course, former Patriot.
And another guy who helped shore up, I think same season, their kick returning game, or maybe it was punt returning game, was Swervin Irvin, Tyler Irvin. Got him on the cheap and fixed a big bugaboo for him in a season that wound them up in the NFC Championship game. So low risk, high reward moves are something I've always given Goody credit for. Those are just a few examples of that. Now, obviously, he has low risk moves that didn't pay off. Think of Tavon Austin. Think of Devin Funchess before the 2020 season. But this seems like a no-brainer. You're a team with championship expectations, a team that is still competing despite 2 bad losses on the season, including this past Sunday against Carolina. But you could take a swing and try to at least give a boost of sorts to your cornerback room. If Asante Samuel Jr. is healthy enough to play, I think it's a no-brainer for Brian Gutekunst and the Packers to bring him in.
I mean, it's all going to be based on the health. Jordan Schultz reported he is actually going to be doing a workout, and much of that workout, I have a feeling, is going to be additional medical clearance from the Packers team. I'm not really all that optimistic in how much a guy is going to be able to get up to speed and be a meaningful contributor who hasn't played football in a year and some months. I also think we've known the Packers to be historically conservative. Just think of how many guys' careers have ended in Green Bay because of those neck injuries. Now, I think a couple of them went on to try and play elsewhere and did not have success, but like Nick Collins retired. Chewy retired. Jermichael Finley, I believe, didn't sign on anywhere else. So maybe there's a degree of difference. It's hard to know. Like, is a spinal fusion? Because it kind of feels like it. And if you've gotten a spinal fusion, is your risk of being a re-injury or devastating injury the same across, or does it matter where it is on the spine? Does it matter the age at which it happened? That's all stuff is way above my grade. I just get out of jail free card. Should Goody be in jail about this? Like,
we need to acknowledge it is what it is, right? Like, we can give him all the credit in the world for the offseason heading into the 2024 season when you bring in Josh Jacobs and Xavier McKinney. Those were your 2 best players last year. It was an awesome free agency class from Goody. 2019, he deserves a ton of credit for. Preston Smith, Sedarius Smith, Adrian Amos, etc. Like, he had some really good free agency classes in his tenure as the GM. This will go down as the worst.
Yeah, sometimes you make bad evals. Sometimes guys don't perform the way you'd like them to. I don't know if Aaron Banks had issues.
He did.
With injuries, but I can't imagine they were like, well, yeah, this guy's going to have 6 different injuries heading into week 10.
It wasn't this bad.
Right.
Nate Hobbs, though, on the other hand, had never played a healthy season.
Right. That I understood.
And also, by the way, he's not very good.
If I'm looking at anything, I'm certainly not looking at the first round pick. I think the Matthew Golden pick was a good pick, fine pick.
Oh, yeah, I agree.
The Savion Williams one maybe feels like a little bit of a luxury pick. Probably didn't need to happen where it did. Anthony Belton, was to bring offensive line help that they desperately needed because we knew how thin they were behind after they signed Aaron Banks. So
yeah, but you know them, man. Like, I'm not going to go back and critique the draft class yet. It's too hard to the middle of the season. To your point on the Savion pick, I think everybody was shocked.
Yeah,
because they went receiver round 1 and then receiver round 3.
I think they've also negatively impacted their team on the field because they're trying to justify his roster spot when everyone gets healthy and is back. Because he's getting way more snaps than actual useful production he's ever given the Packers. And he was always going to be a project. So I don't understand that one. That's the one that sticks out to me as, well, that's kind of strange. This guy's like a glorified running back, but we're going to play him in the slot, but we already have a slot receiver. I don't fully understand that.
I want to argue with you on that. I think, I don't know. I'm not too hung up on it. I wish they would have gone corner earlier in the draft. I'm fine with the Golden pick. I'm fine with the Belton pick, but it is what it is. When it comes to what you did in free agency, though, when it came to open market players, you overpaid for a guy who's just not very good and also can't stay healthy on your defensive backfield in Nate Hobbs. And that's a big miss. So if you want to truly make a run at a Super Bowl, which I know we all agree it looks much harder today than it did 5 days ago when Tucker Kraft was healthy, this seems like a low risk move. He's going to be on a vet minimum. He wants to go to a team where he can start and win. Green Bay seems to be a good spot for that, and obviously prove himself so he can get a bigger contract on the open market after the season, or maybe get a bigger contract in Green Bay after the season, one way or another.
Are we sure Asante Samuel deserves to start?
No, definitely not. But that's what you evaluate once you have him under contract.
Right.
I think if you're him, though, you're looking at the opportunities that present themselves, and right now it seems to be those 3 teams: Carolina, Minnesota, Green Bay. All 3 of them could use help in that position group, amongst a lot of other NFL teams that could use some help at cornerback. But you look at it, I imagine, and I can't speak for him, but if I'm him, what team seems to make the most sense to win and also give me a lot of opportunity? And Green Bay, naturally, would be high on that list, I would guess.
Yeah, I mean, they have to be. They're the team with the highest expectations, and it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out that they will not hesitate to bench Carrington Valentine even if he's outplaying you. So
that's true.
That doesn't seem to matter much to whatever they're doing with the defensive backfield.
Joshy might be the biggest Carrington Valentine supporter. Friend of show, Carrington Valentine.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I mean, the guy just continually performs and then loses his spot to statistically like the bottom 5 corner in all the NFL this year.
Is that what PFF's telling us?
No, I believe that one is more along the lines of passer rating against. So when throwing it, that one's sort of more objective than the subjective of grading.
I can't say I'm surprised.
Well, no,
I didn't know
because
that.
every time they throw that way, it's a completion.
Yeah. His snap count was still down this week.
Yes.
Which is not a bad thing.
Yeah, and the problem they have is they really like Javon Bullard, and I think he's played well.
Yeah, in the slot. Yeah.
So it would make sense, like, well, outside's not working, so we'll just move him down, but then you're not going to bench Javon Bullard.
Nope.
So what do? You just keep trying him there until he gives you the final nail in the coffin of he can't play this position?
But that's why I would advocate for a swing here, because it seems to be, to me at least, right, like, you're going into a good defense that clearly has a weakness. You're trying to prove yourself. It seems like the perfect storm of a good situation for Asante Samuel Jr. Now, if he performs or not, that I can't answer right now. But it seems like the right spot for him to wind up in. That's why these rumors have kind of intrigued me for a few weeks, and now that they're picking up with him cleared for football activities, that's where I get hung up. And I don't know. We'll see. But if there's a guy I do trust when it comes to these, what I've dubbed low risk, high reward moves, Goody's got a pretty darn good track record of them over the course of his career. And again, there's obviously misses. Remember when they brought in the former Dallas linebacker Jalen Smith for 2 weeks, right? Yes. Like, there are obvious misses, but the beauty of a low risk, high reward move is the first hyphenated word in low risk, high reward, and that would be low risk.
Yeah, I mean, Brian Gutekunst gave Rasul Douglas a career.
Oh yeah,
yeah. picked him off the scrap heap and made him a starter and a guy who actually received like a contract.
Where is he these days?
The Miami Dolphins.
Oh, good for him. One of the biggest dumpster fires in football.
Yes, and he's not playing well, nor is that defense.
And Micah Robinson with the other biggest dumpster fire in football, the Tennessee Titans. I saw Brett pointed out in the chat. So, there you go.
Yeah, I'm just not all that worked out about lack of activity on the trade deadline.
No, I'm not worked up at all.
I saw some people that, like, I think when it comes to acquiring players, there's a lot of teams that just sort of do it and then pay for the ramifications.
Philly?
Yeah, and it's like Philly definitely hits on a lot of those players, but so does Brian Gutekunst when he seems to invest in people. But they also have plenty of failures mixed in with. We just don't remember them as much because we're not paying as much attention.
Mm-hmm. Hunter, go ahead.
Just a note on Josh had mentioned like he wasn't sure on some of the spinal fusion stuff. So this whole time I've been going through like WebMD and some different websites.
Oh boy! All right,
again,
Doc.
Not an expert, but from what I have been able to read here is that there are varying degrees for spinal fusions. It can depend on how many vertebrae they end up having to fuse, as well as what pre-existing injury caused them to need to do this. So there's a huge range with what this could be and like how bad or good things could be for him and the long-term effects with this. So it isn't just a like, oh, he tore this one thing, they fixed it, and now it's just once he's healthy, he's healthy.
Yeah, I read that it could be something that was like from birth, like a sort of degenerative issue.
Oh.
Which is probably not great.
Maybe that's what I have going on.
Sure. I don't know what to do with that dead fish.
I got a bad back.
It's probably the way your body
lifestyle.
moves.
Oh, jeez. Pile on, why don't you? Will, what you got? Want to take a free shot?
Yeah, think about all the bar stools that don't have backrests on them. That's probably why your back's so messed up.
Mm-hmm. I'm not using the backrest on the chair I'm sitting on right now.
Mm-hmm.
Fair point. I don't have spinal fusion.
That's a weird joke to make.
Yeah.
Fair point. I won't argue with that. So the Packers real contenders or what? No. So this loss is obviously bad. And as we begin to turn the page to next week, Monday, between the Packers and the Eagles at Lambeau Field, where they play not only a contender, but the reigning Super Bowl champions, it's got me thinking about like, okay, what do we know? What don't we know? We're halfway through the year. How good can they be? How good are they? Are they actually not that good? Are they even a playoff team? Et cetera, et cetera. I've thought about all these scenarios in the last 48 hours. I thought this was interesting, though, from Dan Graziano, who joins Unsportsmanlike every Wednesday. He talked about the Packers and called them a good team and then went on to explain how they're not a very good team, but also kind of a good team. And I just thought it was a good summary of how I'm feeling to a point, because I also disagree with something he says. Here's Dan Graziano on Unsportsmanlike, ESPN Radio.
I do think they're a good team. I think they play like a young team, a young, talented team, which is what they are. And they can beat anybody on any given week because they have that kind of talent, but they can also make enough mistakes to lose to anybody on any given week. So do you get that ironed out by the time the playoffs start? I think the Packers will be fine. I don't think the Packers have to win their division to be a threat in the playoffs, but interesting to see how they look going forward. The negative that I took out of Sunday was the Tucker Kraft injury.
So obviously we all agree with the Tucker Kraft part. Big time negative from that loss against Carolina. But the thing that bothers me, and I'm going to sound like a broken record if you've listened to this show for a long time, but they looked like a young team because they are a young team who can beat anybody but also lose to anybody. Okay? I agree with that. That's what we've learned about them this year. They can beat anybody but also lose to anybody. Beat anybody, see Pittsburgh the way they did it. See Detroit week 1. Lose to anybody, see Cleveland, and see Carolina. So while I agree with that portion of it, I've also banned an excuse on this show. The youngest team in football. They're a young team. The youngest team in football. That's why they can lose to anybody. The thing that actually upsets me about this today on Wednesday, November 5th, 2025, is that on November 5th, 2024, we weren't looking at their wins and losses and going, well, they can lose to anybody. No, we were looking at their wins and losses and saying, well, they lose to really good teams. They lose to teams that are winning 12 and 13 games and winning Super Bowls. They had 7 losses in total last year. 2 of them were to Philadelphia, who won the Super Bowl. 2 of them were to Detroit, who won the division. 2 of them were to Minnesota, who won 13 games. And obviously, the Week 18 loss to a team that didn't make the playoffs, and Malik Willis played in that game, and Will roots for them. And, we don't really look at that one as a true, real loss. The losses that mattered last season were to Philadelphia, Detroit, and Minnesota. Those were really good teams last year. Really good teams. They didn't lose to bad teams last year. And they were younger last year. And they were more inexperienced last year. They didn't lose to bad teams. They didn't lose games they shouldn't lose. And that's what they've done now twice this year. And really, they haven't won 3 games they should win this year, counting the tie against Dallas. So this whole, they're a young team, they're the youngest team in the league, a BS excuse that we continue to utilize when it comes to talking about the Packers not only annoys me, it's also just wrong at this point. Because this was not a bugaboo for them a year ago. And that's the thing that I'm struggling to connect. I talked earlier in the week on KBN, and Josh will probably make fun of me that I'll say this again, but I love puzzles. I'm a puzzle guy. I play all the New York Times crosswords and,
those are games.
Wordles and, they're puzzles too, though. The Pips, the Dominoes game, that's a puzzle.
It's a puzzle
I play
game.
the puzzles on LinkedIn. I love puzzle games.
When was the last time you sat down and did a puzzle?
Like an actual puzzle?
Yeah.
It's probably been a year. Probably around Christmas last year.
Also, you're just
Usually do a
rolling
puzzle
through
around Christmas.
LinkedIn, playing puzzle games.
Yeah, Sudoku and such. Yeah.
I've done the LinkedIn puzzle game.
I play Zip every day. I love getting to solutions, right?
Seems like you just like wasting time.
Yep.
No, that's how I start my day. That's how I get the brain firing. With my cup of mud and some puzzles.
Yeah,
That's the excuse he's built.
Yeah.
Matthew chimes in. I'm with you, Strouf. The LinkedIn puzzles are fun. I did mine this morning. See, people do this, Josh. I'm not the only person that does this.
You guys need hobbies.
I do have a hobby. It's puzzles.
No.
I take pride in one of my good skills is I like solving problems. I'm a problem solver. My point is here. And
We're just filling out your resume now?
Well, no, the issue I'm having with the Packers.
Who are you telling this to?
I'm trying to give you an analogy.
He loves this analogy so much, and you guys just keep interrupting him.
All right, let's start from the top.
No.
Please don't.
Please, Uncle. I tap out. No more.
So I take pride in being a problem solver. I really like puzzles. So the point is here, what I'm trying to say is I like things with solutions and like knowing the answers to things. The thing with this Packers team is they are an unsolvable puzzle. They're like a jigsaw with missing pieces. You can't finish it. And obviously we're only midway through the season, so we don't have the final answer of what they will be and what they can be. But right now, as it stands through 8 games, 5-2-1, with 2 bad losses and a couple of good wins, is I don't know what to make of them. I don't know if they're contenders. I don't know if they're pretenders. I don't know if they're in the race for the NFC North. I don't know if they missed the playoffs. They've got some interesting games left on their schedule. They've got to go to Detroit. They've got to host what will likely be a desperate Baltimore team at the end of the season at Lambeau Field. They've got to play one of the best defenses in the league in Denver on the road in December. They've got to play Minnesota twice. They've got to play Chicago twice. There's a realistic path to them losing 5 more games and missing the playoffs. There's also a realistic path to them losing only 2 more games and finishing the season 12-4-1 and maybe being the top seed in the NFC. It's probably what makes this so addicting and watching football and sports so fun because you don't know the answer to the journey. But I feel like at this time last year, we had a pretty good answer of what the Packers exactly were. They would hang in there with good teams and they would beat bad teams, just who they were. That's just not the case this year. And they're older and more experienced, so stop calling them the youngest team in football and using youth as an excuse as to why they have bad losses, because that's not something they did a year ago. Analogy over. Go ahead.
I do like that you're treating the Green Bay Packers in 2025 as some like unsolvable math problem. Like it's one of the famous formulas that like all the famous mathematicians have never been able. There's answers here. It's just which of the answers do you want to accept and treat?
So what are the answers?
One, not that talented.
I don't think that's the answer.
2, regression from the head coach.
I think that could be an answer.
3 could be bad luck.
I mean, there's probably some truth to that with injuries.
Yes. And I don't know what else the other I mean, it's football. Things are pretty straightforward. The answer is one of 2 things most likely in terms of solving it. One, this is just a streak of bad fortune and poor play that is going to be corrected. It is going to be solved and not be an issue, and we all just are overreacting to 3 anomalies early in a season for and not an excuse, an explanation for a young team. They're still young players. They're still learning on the football field. They are still getting better and learning how to play in those situations. Or the other fact is they have a head coach that has seemingly somehow taken a step back, has gotten too stuck in his ways, is too fixated on the wrong things, and isn't going to manage to solve them and help lift his team above the performances we've seen.
I do believe
those are the
coach,
2 roads.
I do believe the head coach certainly plays a role.
Yeah.
The reason you can't solve the puzzle is because the picture on the box is not the same as the pieces that are inside. You thought Matt LaFleur was going to be this amazing head coach coming into this year. He's got all these new weapons. Now Tucker Kraft's going to take the next step. He's got Matthew Golden. He's got this superpower defense. And then everything kind of starts to fall apart. His coaching style maybe isn't as good as you thought it was. The defense maybe isn't as good as you thought it was. Tucker Kraft obviously gets hurt. But at the end of the day, I don't think this team is what you thought they were. They're not the puzzle that's on the box. They're the puzzle on the inside, which is an entirely different puzzle. And that's why you're having trouble solving it, is because you don't have the picture right.
That was pretty good. Pretty good analogy by Will.
Yeah. Dibs on, I think you should leave the analogies to me.
Yeah.
Well, that's not how that works.
You got analogy picked.
If Boss Man agrees with that.
That's not how that works.
Yeah.
Yeah, you helped further my analogy.
It was a good analogy. I played off of it.
See, now it's just teamwork. Teamwork
It's like Rondo to Paul Pierce in the corner.
Okay. What?
Except you're more like Avery Bradley. You're not Rondo.
6th man of the year?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know that that's the diss you thought it was.
Good defender.
Hey, he's a good player. Avery Bradley was a good player. Yeah, so I guess to quit the analogy for a moment, it's the NFL. Weird things are going to happen. Things aren't going to fall the way you think they are. But like when I think about other teams in the league that we view as true contenders, and I guess just real quick, rapid fire, yes or no, Josh, are the Green Bay Packers a true contender?
No.
Will?
No.
Hunter?
No.
I still lean yes, but something's got to give at one point or another. So like next Wednesday, a week from today, when we're talking after the Eagles game, if they win that game and they show us some things, I think I'll go, yeah. I think they still are, but we'll see what happens a week from now. Now, my point is, when it comes to some of the other contenders in the league, I think you have a better idea of what they are and what they're made of. Right? When you think of, and this is the extreme, when you think of Kansas City, they've had their shortcomings. They lost last week to Buffalo in the regular season. But you know what they're good at, and you know what they're capable of, and you know who they can beat and hang with, and you know that they ultimately have a quarterback that can take over football games. Similarly with Buffalo, they have a quarterback that can take over Buffalo games, despite having some shortcomings that will allow them to get beat by maybe inferior opponents from time to time. But if you put the Chiefs or the Bills in the same stadium as the Carolina Panthers, I don't think you see what happened to Green Bay.
We saw what the Bills did to them.
40-9.
On the road, too.
Yeah. So that's where I get hung up on. Championship level teams don't make these mistakes, especially twice. If it was just Cleveland, I'm feeling a little bit different. But now that it's also happened to Carolina, that's concerning. So I understand why you guys say no to that question right now as it stands.
Yeah. You can make account for an off day, a bad game plan. When it's 3 of them, when you barely scored against what is on pace to be one of the 3 worst defenses in the history of tracking them, and you only beat them by 9, you've got more problems than I think we all want to admit. And it's hard to look past the first 2 games. That second game continues to deteriorate in terms of value and what it actually could have meant, because that team in the Commanders is, they're done and they're old and slow, and it's the thing everyone talked about. The Lions are good. They're clearly not as good as last year. So
I agree.
You probably
still good though.
Yeah, you probably punched above your weight a little bit in that one. You had the convenience of being the first time with all new coordinators. A real test is the Eagles game, and there's a real chance that game gets ugly for the Packers if the same team that showed up against it. The Panthers want to run the ball. They're pretty good at it. The Eagles' offensive line is now healthy and has their starters back on that offensive line, and that's Saquon Barkley back there rushing the ball now. So yeah, that could get, you could lose in a very similar way, but to a better team with more offensive firepower.
I mean, you said it last week too, Josh. Before the Panthers game, they've already been slapped in the face twice. I don't think they're going to get slapped again. So they were already out of their free passes before the Panthers game. So for it to happen, 3 times in 5 weeks or something like that, that's a little less of a stumble and more of a, there's something seriously going on here.
Well, this for Matthew, and thanks, Matthew, for pointing it out later in the chat. I hadn't scrolled back on this yet. But some interesting statistics from the offensive side of things. Weeks 1 and 2, 11% of their passes went behind the line of scrimmage. Weeks 3 through 9, 25% of their passes went behind the line of scrimmage. That's second highest in the league. Intermediate passes, 10 to 19 yards, 30% through weeks 1 and 2, and now only 13%. 3 through 9, 3rd lowest in the league. And then obviously the takeaways are back.
Did a whole thing on why aren't the Packers beating teams they should.
Really good read, by the way.
Yeah. And
over at ESPN.com.
I saw some people try and dismiss it, but as somebody who's watched Matt LaFleur for 7 years intently, and with not just I'm enjoying a Packers game, I'm trying to be a little more critical. He 1,000,000% is guilty of the things he gets accused of in that article, being when the Packers play bad teams, they turtle up, they get more conservative, they try and be less of a schemed open team. They just want to take easy stuff, do what they do, get out of town, and get a win. And then when they are underdogs, all of a sudden it's a laser show. The depth the target of throws is way downfield. They're far more aggressive than in weeks past. And that's why, I think I said it on Monday, it wouldn't shock me if all of a sudden Matt LaFleur comes out with a game plan they can't believe they're seeing from the Packers, because the past 6 weeks have been something other than what they see on Monday. Like, that's the type of stuff, which is probably a head coach overthinking and getting too paranoid about putting stuff on film and not just letting his players be players and go out and win football games.
There also is something to be said about Matt LaFleur's game plan when he's missing a key offensive piece. Like, it almost feels like he puts in the work that he should be putting into his offensive game plan. Like last year when Jordan Love went down, it felt like he knew exactly what to expect from the defenses with Malik Willis. So I don't know how that it will affect him differently since it's a tight end in this sense.
I mean, look, I still trust the weapons that they have. I do.
He doesn't.
Well, he's going to have to. And I think he realizes that at this point, given how bad it's been the last couple of weeks, minus Pittsburgh. Second half in Pittsburgh was awesome.
In terms of just behavior and previous experiences we've had with Matt LaFleur,
sure.
Do you think he learns his lessons easy and quickly or hard and slow?
Well, there is a correct answer here, and I'm going to choose not to share it.
Because every time...
but I think this is different at large.
I think the only time you can really be like, wow, he came out and wasn't messing around is when his quarterback was out.
Yeah,
Other than that, I mean, you mentioned Tyler Ervin. There was a time, and I'm not just making this up, and this isn't just false memory, where the offense struggled because Tyler Ervin wasn't there to run like the jet sweeps and end arounds, because that was so foundational to his run game and sort of the action he needed that they tried to do it with other guys, then they got rid of it, and it like things just didn't work the way they were supposed to.
We got a call on Monday on KBN after the loss, and this caller was yelling, and he yelled this line that I just loved. He goes, "We've gone from jet sweeps to bubble screens." I was like, damn, that's the truest thing I've heard all day.
Yeah.
Horizontal mat.
Horizontal mat. Dr. Denver Dan, it's a little too dramatic in here today. The Packers are not bleeped after this start. I don't think they're bleeped. And that goes back to what I just said on the floor. I think he has to know something's got to give with his offense. He's just got to cut some people loose, man, and stop throwing. I almost swore. Bubble screens all the time. Stop being horizontal math.
Here's the thing. Even if it happens against the Eagles, because you're punching up, you're playing one of the better teams in all the NFL, the next middling team they play, we're going right back to horizontal pass game, pound the rock with Josh Jacobs. And
who is the next middle of the pack team they play? They play the Giants next week. Yeah. After
Putty, Jackson Dart. That's going to be a brawl. They're going to be in it in that one.
I do want to throw this.
And you know what they're really good at? Really, really good at?
What are they really, really good at?
Rushing the passer.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Get ugly.
Offensive line that can't block.
So I've kind of been in my Google search bag here today.
More WebMD?
No, not this time. I was looking at the list of like the average age of each NFL roster, and granted, this is at the start of the season. Strouf, I'm going to give you some credit here that the age thing really shouldn't be a conversation, because like you look at the top 10 youngest teams, and you have, with the Packers being the youngest, the Eagles and the Chiefs are in the top 10. And obviously, we know what they are. And then you go down to the oldest, and you have teams like the Lions in there, the Broncos, the Rams. So there is, it's all mixed in with the age. So really, the age shouldn't be a conversation when it comes to how good your team is. So I'm going to give you some credit there.
Thank you. I mean, but also, age is a number, yes, but so is experience, man. And you've got a sixth-year quarterback. You talk about Mahomes, and you talk about Hurts, and you talk about Stafford, and obviously some of those guys are more veteran than others. But, like, you've got an experienced quarterback. He's in his sixth year. I understand it's his third as the starter, but it's his sixth year in the National Football League. Guy's a veteran. He's got insurance when he retires. Just the fact of the matter. So, we will see. All right, it is Wednesday. Each and every Wednesday. Real quick. I forgot they had the Giants next week. Before we get to One Word Wednesday. I remember, so I think it was me and Gabe talking about this on Green Bay Game Day on Sunday. So we always talk about 2023, Joshy. The back end of that run and how great Love was and how awesome, that stretch was for Love and the team and got them into the playoffs and they ultimately win the playoff game. I just totally blanked on that Monday night Giants game with Tommy DeVito.
We referenced it on here. Yeah. Randy Bullock kicked the game-winning field goal, number 46.
Well, and his agent.
Yeah. Sean Stellato.
How do you remember his name?
Because he looked like a cartoon.
Have you seen him since, though? I don't know that I have.
Yes. He's still an agent. He also went like semi-viral for being a quarterback who upset, was it not Herb Street, but McShay and their
Stellato was?
Yeah.
In high school, right?
Yeah.
How did I miss this?
I don't know, but you've really put your head into the sand.
Just locked in, bro. What can I say?
That would be the opposite of locked in.
Yeah.
That'd be locked out.
All right, time now for One Word Wednesday. Hunter's got a list of topics. We've got words to respond to the topics. It's called One Word Wednesday. Here we go.
In honor of Strouf's Coaches Week that he's been working on, as well as the college football coaching carousel, I'm going to give you guys 5 different coaches from the state of Wisconsin, and I want you guys to give one word on them and probably a little bit more. So we will start in Madison with Greg Gard.
The word is tomorrow. For a few different reasons. Number one, my conversation with Greg Gard happening tomorrow will come out next week with the rest of the interviews for ESPN Wisconsin Coaches Week. But the other reason I use the word tomorrow for him is he is the one coach at the University of Wisconsin that has understood there is a tomorrow if you do NIL and transfer portal correctly. So he has found a way to evolve and continue to see tomorrow. So that's my word, tomorrow, for Greg Gard.
You used my word in your explanation. It's evolved or evolving. They changed the offense. They changed the approach of the program, and they've had success. He is probably the singular best case for the modern day changing of college sports and doing it well and really delivering in a meaningful way for the university.
My words, expectations. Feel like this year is a big year for Badger basketball with the changes you guys mentioned, and also John Blackwell, who had a huge game. I believe he had 31 points in the opener.
That's correct.
Against Campbell, so expectations, my word.
The Camels. The Campbell Camels.
A very good college baseball program,
Oh.
in case anyone cared.
I don't,
Interesting.
but good to know.
Staying with basketball, but going over to Milwaukee in the NBA, Doc Rivers.
I'm struggling with this one.
I can tell.
I'm going to go inconsistent. His team right now, they win obviously some very good games, but it also feels like it's kind of a rotating door of people that are contributing on the offensive side outside of Giannis. Like, Ryan Rollins was phenomenal for those 2 games and has been very quiet since then. And then it's Kyle Kuzma scoring a little bit. Sometimes it's Gary Trent. I would just like to see Doc Rivers come up with a more consistent game plan to get his playmakers the ball in these Bucks games.
I'm going to use the word lucky because he benefited greatly from the firing of Adrian Griffin and being able to hold the Bucks' feet to the fire. I will always question Doc Rivers. I think he's the architect of some of the worst defeats in playoff history. And until he wins a championship with the Milwaukee Bucks, or if he ever does, that's probably the only thing that's not going to have me giving him a side eye.
Champagne.
Here we go.
Can't get out of the champagne room, man.
Admittedly, I thought you were going to give some long analogy that was going to be drawn out, and we were going to have to stop in the middle and restart.
Have we done that today?
Yeah.
A few times.
Yeah.
Never do that on this show.
Been really smooth today.
Coming back to Madison, Luke Fickell.
Ass.
Ass.
Mega ass. Asante Samuel.
Oh, nice. How about,
It's 2 words, though.
Is there anything to add here?
No.
It's just,
No.
it's terrible.
I was moving on to our 4th coach, Shaka Smart.
Passion.
Defense. They had 18 steals in their first game against Albany.
You going tonight?
Yeah, I'll be there.
Southern
University. The Jaguars.
I feel like they've played Southern like every year for like the last decade.
They did last season too. I'm not sure about the year before.
Quick
but
paycheck.
Mine is going to be transfers. Some guy who he just doesn't like them. Who knows?
2 years in a row.
Yeah.
No transfers.
I've never fully understood why that's the case.
RGV.
Yeah,
Relationships, growth, and victory.
I mean, it's not a simple. It's a simple explanation, but not simple in today's NCAA, and that is when guys commit to Marquette commits to those guys, and they don't leave.
This is going to sound, but you gave the. How close is Shaka Smart to a guy like PJ Fleck, but a basketball coach?
You cannot. use them in the same sense.
I'm not doing this.
With like the Saints and
Shaka Smart has had a lot more success than PJ Fleck.
I'm not saying success. I'm just saying in like the corny, you rah rah.
Because if you watch Marquette play, they play the way
You're
he
still
preaches.
not listening.
I think he's further off than you're implying.
It's a different rah rah.
It's a different rah-rah. I would agree.
This is Joshy not being a Marquette fan.
And also,
also
Shaka feels much more authentic than PJ.
PJ Fleck is like, shut up, dude. I don't.
That's
care.
an act.
No,
I don't think it's an act. For
all
Shaka.
your players want you to shut up. Just stop. Shaka, it's people buy into it.
Are you sure they want him to shut up?
I want him to shut up.
That's clear.
Couldn't tell.
Him in that stupid tie.
Yeah, why does he wear that tie?
And sunglasses when it's dark outside.
That's forced. Yeah, great point.
Sunglasses
I might be
are
closer
cool.
to PJ Fleck.
You should row the boat out of Minnesota.
Wow.
Go home.
Did you hear his long defense of roll the boat? I've been doing it for years. Get over it.
No, I didn't hear that.
It doesn't even mean anything.
Yeah, then just I don't know.
I mean,
just who cares?
It does have a meaning, but no, it is still stupid.
It just means you're moving.
Well, no, the
You could
whole
be rowing
idea
the
is
boat
that
backwards.
the entire team needs to be rowing the boat in the same direction. If one side is rowing
Well,
the
you ever
oars
been
at a different
kayaking or canoeing?
speed.
Yeah. I guess it is a better saying than together everyone achieves more.
Exactly.
Good point. Good point.
Final
It's in
head
every
coach.
fifth grade classroom on the wall.
Final head coach in Wisconsin for our coaches carousel, Matt LaFleur.
Bozo.
Wow.
Conversation.
Hot seat.
Comeback.
Charlie Barron's just walked through.
Wonder what he's up to. Comeback.
Yeah.
Explain.
Comeback necessary this season in order to stay off the hot seat.
You seem confident. You seem
That didn't seem genuine though. That seemed tongue in cheek.
that's a guy right there trying to talk himself into it.
I have confidence in Matt LaFleur.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right, that was our coaches carousel. ESPN Wisconsin Coaches Week. My one-on-one conversations with Greg Gard, Shaka Smart, Bart Lundy, and Doug Gottlieb coming to you next week. Ahead of not ahead of, season's here, but for the 2025-2026 college basketball season. Some good information on all the programs and insight to leadership and how they lead their programs. Very different, all four of them, which is something I enjoy. As Josh, you just pointed out with the transfer portal for Marquette, something they just don't use, versus Wisconsin, a team that like completely rebuilds through the transfer portal. It's just weird how two power conference perennial NCAA tournament teams build completely differently. I think that's fascinating. You're giving me an S-eating grin, and I don't like it.
I just remembered that awful shirt you wore last year, and the fact that we're gonna have to see it again.
Are you talking about the fluffy one?
No,
Oh, the split jersey.
split shirt.
Or split shirt.
Oh, the Wisconsin Marquette one?
that one hasn't started to deteriorate, has it?
That game is right around his birthday too, so it's
Yes.
double whammy.
Isn't it
Yeah,
on your
it's the day
birthday
before.
this year? Oh, it's the
No,
day
that was
before.
last year. It's the day before this year. Packers Bears is on my birthday this year.
Packers at Bears on my birthday.
That's correct.
Being a Marquette fan and like following a lot of Big East stuff, I do think it'll be interesting for Marquette when the rev share stuff hits, because you're going to be seeing an infusion of $20 million to a school that doesn't have football. So the majority of that's going to be going to men's basketball. So I do wonder if there will be a little bit of a change in that philosophy given the infusion of NIL money that they could potentially have, or a school like Xavier and Villanova. Like, those schools could suddenly take another step forward when it comes to their programs that a school like a Wisconsin maybe wouldn't be able to.
We've used the word fusion a lot on the show today. Mm-hmm. Double infusion there from Hunter. We've talked about spinal fusions. It's the fusion show. Isn't there an alcoholic beverage called the Fusion, Joshy?
There's the
transfusion.
transfusion, yeah.
No, that's a golf course drink,
didn't
right?
know that?
Is that vodka and like Gatorade?
Nope.
Okay, let's try again. Vodka,
Ding, ding, ding.
Gatorade,
No
Nope.
Gatorade.
Okay.
You're thinking of the TikTok drink that was made sort of to model after the transfusion. In
The
a
Borg.
degree.
Okay, so transfusion, vodka,
Yes.
Sprite,
No.
vodka,
Pretty sure there's only two
grape
ingredients.
juice.
Yes.
Yes.
There we
That's it.
go.
Stop.
No, I think there might, and I guess it probably depends. But is there ginger ale or ginger beer or?
I think usually there's something like that in there.
Yeah, because there tends to be bubbles.
You guys really don't sound certain for a bunch of guys that were making fun of me for not knowing.
Well,
Whoa,
you
I
did, the
didn't make
grape
fun
is
of
the
you.
most important part. It's purple.
That's why I thought Gatorade. I thought it was purple Gatorade. Which, I guess, in theory, you could do. Grape Gatorade with vodka.
Yeah, the
Transfusion.
best one is, what is it? Riptide Rush?
Is that a Gatorade flavor?
I only know Gatorade off the colors.
Glacier
I don't know the
Freeze.
titles.
Yeah, I'm with Hunter on this. Cool Blue, I guess, is the blue one. I
Yeah,
give you that one.
Riptide Rush is the light purple one, the goat.
See,
Oh, I think that.
I'm a fan of just the classic yellow.
Me too. I was just about to say that.
Oh.
Lemon lime. Yeah, I love that one.
How do you not like the
You
classic?
children.
What's your favorite?
I like the Glacier Freeze.
That's the white one?
It's
Yeah.
a light. Is it? Yeah, I do like that one.
That one's good too.
That is
I agree.
So transfusion is actually vodka, ginger ale, grape juice, and a little lime juice if you want to get a little in there.
I like lime juice in my drinks. So
Cool.
I'm good with that. All right, there you go. All right, time now for What We Missed, What We Learned. That is presented by Door County Distillery, locally produced, handcrafted, award-winning spirits. Hey, they've got vodka for your transfusions, baby. Really good vodka, too. They've also got cherry vodka, if you want to mix it up a little bit. They've also got rums and gins, and of course, my favorite, the whiskeys. I love their bourbon, the cherry bourbon, the Bat Bleep bourbon. We've got the 27-time gold medal award-winning single malt whiskey for your old fashions, cherry brandy for your old fashions. The holidays are coming, people. Stock up right. With the award-winning, the local, the affordable Door County Distillery. Visit their website, doorcountydistillery.com. William?
Okay, so I don't have any words today that I heard, but I do have
Yeah, we haven't used a lot of big words today.
I got an educating story that I thought was very interesting.
An educating story?
A story to educate.
Sure. Okay.
I thought it
Could
was
go on
interesting. You guys
educational
probably seen
story.
it though. Bailey Richards from People magazine. Tom Brady revealed that his current dog Junie is a clone of his late dog Lua, who died in December 2023. The dogs were cloned by Colossal Biosciences, a biotech company that Brady's an investor in, using blood collected prior to
Free
Lua's death.
advertising. Well, you got to be better than that.
Free advertising.
You got to be better. Than
Sorry
that.
to anyone that owns
No
a dog
offense.
cloning business.
No offense to our audience.
Sorry to somebody that owns a rival dog cloning
No,
business.
what I'm trying to say is the reason this is a story is to promote the name of that company so then other people will clone
But still, he
their pets.
cloned his dog.
Okay, well, hold on a minute. Nobody in the MIA would clone their dog. I'm confident.
This
in
is
saying
wrong.
that.
This is wrong.
Yeah, it's freak show stuff.
Yep.
Tom Brady is a weird freak.
Yep.
He's a weirdo.
He's a weirdo.
He might be cloned. The first thing I thought of is, what if he cloned
That's actually
himself?
a terrific point by you. We should be worried about that. Also, by the way, he already exists. His name is Drake May.
I think this is sick. It's twisted. It's creepy. Rich people should have their money seized by the government.
When they do stuff like this,
Yeah.
invest in the company. Don't clone your dog, dude.
I mean, what?
See, and also, what does that mean? Okay, I'm not the smartest guy in the world. Okay, I understand they took a vial of blood from his now dead dog, and they just used that to clone a dog. But like, what does that mean? Are they growing this in a tube?
I believe it is, yes, the process is some sort of formation happening, test tube baby style, and then I believe it's probably implanted into an actual animal at some degree because you need, the womb.
You think there's got to be something up with that dog, right? Like it's got to have a
Yeah, of course.
weird behavioral.
It's got like an
tics.
eye in its stomach.
right.
Yeah, of course. There's some of that stuff, but I mean, there is degrees of you can do gene editing. CRISPR is a thing where you can correct for and make things less likely to have. I mean, you can do it with human babies if you really chose to. But yeah, it's a weird thing. And instead of doing what most normal people do, just go back to the same breeder. I believe Tom Brady couldn't because this was a rescue, like a pit bull mix of sorts.
Which is good.
So
Just
get
rescue
another
another dog.
rescue, my guy.
Correct.
Yeah.
Bingo. Yeah. And that was what I was going to
Also-
say. Dr. Denver Dan chimes in. There are so many dogs at the pound. Go get a free one. They love you more. Adopt, don't shop. That's my
Yep.
take. Or clone. Don't do that either.
The weird thing is you can sort of correct for behaviorally sort of the same way with like cloning, but it's not going to act and behave the same way as the dog you had. Because its brain's not the same, and the things that happen
Right.
throughout the course of its life, like
Different experience.
You ever seen the movie Get Out?
Yes, actually. I have seen
yeah,
that movie. That's the scary one.
Wow.
I'm starting to think Tom
Strouf.
Brady's cloned.
He's what?
I think they cloned Tom Brady.
You think the movie?
No,
I'm
I think
confused.
Tom Brady right now is a clone of the real Tom Brady.
What does that
Have
have
you
to do with
seen
Get
how
Out?
different he looks?
that's
before-
just plastic surgery.
I have a question for the MIA.
Well, Strouf said the thing about the brain. I said, have you ever seen Get Out?
I have a question for the MIA before we close out. Which member of Mr. Irrelevant of the four of us would you most like to see a clone of? Myself, Joshy, Will, or Hunter? That's my question for the MIA before we wrap up today. Josh, what's your answer? You, obviously.
I don't want another one of me running around.
Bad idea.
Do you want another Strouf?
No, of course not.
Okay,
No,
so
I
you're
don't
down to
want
me or
another
Will.
either. I don't know if I have an answer.
I don't want anyone to be cloned. I think it's immoral, and I think it's gross.
I think it's immoral and gross. Well, so are many
True.
other things that go on in this
Also,
country.
there's been a
Right.
whole series of
before
movies
it
called
takes off,
Jurassic
I can-
Park about how cloning is maybe a bad idea.
Yeah. Yeah, just because you can doesn't mean you should.
Yeah, it's probably fair.
I mean, Tom Brady is the perfect poster child for this because he is like an unfeeling, amoral, sort of amorphous thing.
He
that
looks
just
plastic
exists.
now. He looks plastic.
Yeah,
That's
a
why I
lot
think
of
he's
plastic
cloned.
surgery.
He
No,
might
it's
be
plastic
cloned.
surgery. It's plastic surgery.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, here we go. Tyler says Strouf. Matthew says probably Will. Dr. Denver Dan says Steve the Homer True. Matthew says Will or Strouf would be the most hilarious. Your father, Dan the Man, has chimed in and said Will, of course. He would like another one of you. That's wholesome
Means
and
I'm a
sweet.
good son.
Yeah, you did good.
The person I think I would want Strouf cloned because you would handle it the worst.
If there was another me sitting here?
Because somebody else,
You guys
getting-
would just destroy each other.
somebody else getting the credit for something you think you should have, even though it's your clone. That would be a real struggle for you.
The content we would have as a station, because he would be battling himself for attention. So he'd just be trying to one up
imagine the
himself.
Strouf,
Oh.
the Strouf combine.
You think I would make out with myself?
Yeah,
Okay.
I do.
And now we've gone down the weird.
What a weird
rabbit
question to
hole.
ask.
It also means Strouf's thought about it.
Well, I find myself attractive. When I find
See, the first thing that came into my head is, wow, I could be in two places at once. Like, I could tell my clone to go do something that I
And
don't
Strouf
want to do.
goes down the vein
when
rabbit
I look
hole.
in the mirror, but hold up. But when I look in the mirror, I go, damn, that's an attractive guy, right? Like I wake up, I do my hair gel, I shave a little
called
bit. I'm like,
vanity.
oh wow, it's a good looking dude. If there's another me, you know what? We're gonna end the show now. All right,
Please
that
do.
has been your Wednesday edition of Mr. Irrelevant.
Did you just sort
That was really weird.
What?
I think you sort of just accidentally referenced like a famous, and the name's escaping me now.
American Psycho?
Of an extremely vain. No, it's like a classic literature of an extremely vain person who like looks at themselves in the mirror too much.
I
Yes,
don't look at myself
I think
in the
it
mirror
might
too
be
much.
like Greek mythology or something. There's like a whole.
I only look at myself in the mirror in the morning.
And you say, wow, that's an attractive fella. Normal people
Yeah.
don't do that.
That's not true. Normal people give themselves a pump up speech in the mirror. No.
I
No.
go, wow, I'm ugly.
No, I'm like, you're going to attack this. Like, I go full out, like, mental, I'm ready to go in the mirror. It's good for me.
And you
All
get to
right,
work
we gotta
and waste
go.
time with New York Times puzzles.
Yeah, all right, we got to go. We'll talk to you on Friday. Well, me and Will will talk to you on Friday. I think we're going to have a guest join
the
us.
myth of Narcissus.
Well, tell me something we don't know.
Is the story of a beautiful young man whose excessive self-love leads to his demise.
Well, wait a minute. We'll talk to you on Friday at 12:30. Peace.